Hello, everyone. My name is David Lonigan. I am the Managing Director at Framework Recruitment and the Creative Director at Framework Solutions. Today, I am chatting to Chris Wall, who is the Operations Manager at Aluminium Fire Systems. And today, we're just going to be discussing his role, Aluminium Fire Systems, and their impact on the industry. So, Chris, give us a brief introduction to yourself and the role at AFS.
Hello everyone. As David just said, my name is Chris Wall and I'm the Operations Manager at Aluminium Fire Systems. We're a fire-rated aluminium window and door specialist based in Birmingham. I've only been in the industry about 3 years now. Before that, I was involved in the automotive industry, so working for Tier 1 Jaguar Land Rover suppliers, Bentley, Aston Martin, things like that. I'm the operations manager here. So pretty much the whole process from start to finish, fabrication, quality control, health and safety, everything that goes on here, I'm ultimately responsible for.
And so, Chris, I know Aluminium Fire Systems really well, but for anyone else, who are you as a company? What's the mission, and what sets you apart from everyone else in the industry?
As I said, we're a fire rated specialist. So what we do is manufacture fire rated aluminium windows and doors. A lot of our sort of customers are other window suppliers that don't really get involved in fire rated, that might usually turn away sort of certain aspects of projects because they either don't understand it, they don't fabricate it, they don't want to get involved in that sort of stuff. That's where
And it's
we'll
a
come in.
product that it's sprung to prominency. Really, it was
Oh,
always there, sort of in the
definitely.
last 5, 10 years. But obviously, post Grenfell, that sort of the attention that these products now get is so hyper and so
100%.
takes a lot of focus, right?
100%. As I say, like I speak to a lot of our customers directly, and it's the same sort of feedback that we're getting all the time. Is that they've never got involved in fire, they don't understand fire, but they're getting so many inquiries now where there's some sort of aspect of fire rated requirements involved that they can't turn it down. They would either usually turn it away or they'd sort of omit it from their quotation as part of a project. But it's getting so sort of prominent now in every sort of building that's going up that they can't turn it away. So they're having to find like a supplier or build a partnership with someone that so they can offer that to their product range.
And obviously, with when you're working, a lot of these projects go to commercial ends, and so ultimately, when you have the pressures of like sort of commercial tier one type projects, yeah, this stuff has to be absolutely on point. So you can understand why people are sort of reticent to suddenly start going, oh, we know this product excellently, and especially the sort of penalties you have to pay if you're not getting it right.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a bit of a fear when it comes to fire rated elements. As you say, it's not something that can be taken lightly. The sort of scrutiny that is placed upon it, building control, all that sort of aspects of a project. It's a critical aspect that needs to be taken seriously. So I think there is a bit of a fear there from people that have never got involved with it before, that this is something that could go wrong, or this is something that could cost someone a lot of money on a project. So that's where we would like to think that we can come in and help people.
Actually, culturally, do you think there's an element? Because I think one of the, this industry, it's got like as amazing as everything is, there's obviously still cultural problems we have, and I think we have a legacy of sort of connective tissue to the double glazing past that we need to shed pretty rapidly when you're talking about the performance of these type of products. Do you think there's like I overheard a couple of months ago an installer being taken to task because he'd put a fire window in upside down, which is obviously then it's not safe. It's not going to do the job it's intended. And his attitude was,
Yeah.
I've been installing Windows for 30 years. You don't tell me how to do it. But ultimately, we've got to learn fast on these types of products. And you have to, I guess that speaks to, again, the value proposition of aluminium fire systems to the market.
Yeah, definitely. I think the actual sort of lack of understanding to do with fire rated requirements and the sort of importance are, for me, is quite scary. I think that's a sort of industry wide issue. The amount of conversations that I've had with people where they've sort of phoned up and said, "Can you just supply the glass because we've got a window here already? Would you put the fire rated glass into the window?" And the red flags start going straight away, and you know what sort of system's in place? Is it a fire rated window? And it's just, no, we just need some fire rated glass. Bang that into the frame. You know, away we go. And you know, if that was sort of like a one-off occurrence or every now and then it wouldn't be as bad. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's quite a you know a reoccurring theme where the actual sort of not understanding what the requirements are and what the reason for having that. Yeah,
I
it's
think as well,
quite
like
a
we're
quite
quite
an issue, I think.
well. We've been for so long. It's quite a fractured industry. Like obviously siloed into the niche of architectural glazing, fenestration, facades, whatever you want to call it. But everyone is still sort of in their own specialism. And again, because it's this conversation about the performance of these products, it kind of sprung up around people very quickly. So it's no great surprise. There's a bit of ignorance still in the market with actually not only like how these products are supposed to perform.
Yeah, definitely. And as I say, you know, I think it is like a cultural thing, and what you're saying about tying in with like the previous sort of stereotypical double glazing industry, where if people don't understand it, I completely like understand why, because it is a relatively sort of like new thing in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, it is that sort of I've been installing Windows for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. That's the sort of culture that we need to move away from, and you know we're very transparent here. If there's an issue, we'll look into it. We'll try and find a root cause. If we've done something well, you know, it's a very transparent thing of sort of where I don't think that's an industry wide trait to have. I think there's
Oh, good
people
point.
where
I
if
remember.
we try and give advice, people are like, you can't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. Whereas
I
it's
think we're
it's not
lucky. I
the
think we
same as
have
just
this.
banging in a plastic window.
I think we have. I think we are at a like generational point in time where there's a lot of the guys who came to work 30 years ago with their dads are now no, they are they are the business leaders. But in the next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
those companies will have to change on hand to new leadership. And your hope is obviously that the generation that comes up behind is a little bit more savvy. And ultimately, look, they are, because ultimately the cost for getting these things wrong is now very high. So you can't get, well, you can either get it wrong and fail, or like Aluminium Fire Systems, get it right and flourish, right?
Yeah, you know that's the plan. I think that you know if you stand still, you might as well be going backwards. You know, I think the companies that are succeeding are the people that are, you know, investing in training, investing in the young people coming through businesses and all that sort of stuff. I think people that are stuck in that mindset of this is the way we've always done it, so that's the way we'll always do it, will be the sort of ones that will face issues.
So can you highlight any sort of key milestones, key projects that AFS have sort of that you feel have really impacted the industry?
Um, yeah, it's sort of like the future sort of projects that we're working towards that are getting me really excited. So we've got a lot of projects in our pipeline at the minute that we will go and attend site and do site visits with someone and give a lot of advice on. And that's where I think that there's like a shift which will be like a big milestone for us instead of someone phoning up and going like, I need one window. I've been told I need one window, so I'm just ordering one fire rated window because that's what's going to get me my building signed off. That's all well and good. We'll do that. We'll help people, no problem at all. But it's the projects where people are calling us and going, look, I need some input. Can you come to site? We've got a project in the pipeline at the minute, which is for a children's hospital. That's quite a high value project for us and for our client. And they called us in early. Look, we know there's a lot of fire rated windows on this job. We don't know a great deal, so touching on our sort of expertise within the industry as a specialist and going, you come and attend our meetings, you come and give advice on the bit that we're confident on, and those are the sort of the key sort of like milestones for us is that we're getting involved in the projects earlier. People are sort of
Yeah.
understanding the importance of getting a specialist in rather than another sort of window company that can sort of say that they'll do it all. But that for me is like a really sort of exciting aspect for us getting involved earlier on where we could give the advice before people are too far down the line and they've already made decisions which impacts the project further on, which are, that they've been taken too soon. And when we actually come in and go, well, this can and can't be done, or the sort of restrictions within the system that's been designed that can and can't perform what people have already presumed that can be done. So getting involved is sort of like as early as possible in a project is sort of like a key milestone for us. Getting involved in larger projects and giving advice at the start.
And I imagine ultimately there's a real value from the client's perspective if, not only they're the specialist, they are going to come to site. We've already used them. We know it delivers. We know it works. So I imagine it's a bit, there's a real, like you're going to be build really strong connections there with the client, especially when they have that, it's a product that's out of the scope of their normal competency.
Exactly. And that's what we were saying before about, people who have that flexibility and that sort of adapting to the environment around them. If someone's been asked for a fire rated window for the first time, I think what you were saying before, that old school sort of mentality is, yep, I can do that. We'll get it sorted. And then dealing with it afterwards causes issues in projects because things will get done wrong. Things will be fitted upside down or back to front.
I think it's almost,
someone will be trying to put fire rated glass in a standard window frame.
In some respects, I have for the entrepreneurial flair, or someone goes, "No, I'll do it. I can bloody do it. I can bloody do it." But ultimately, you're now at a point in time though where actually you can't be a bit wheeler dealer with fire safety products. There has to be the standard, and especially post Grenfell, because those cladders didn't think they were going to court, did they? Regardless,
Exactly.
And I think ultimately. It's a sign that we are doing things better as an industry. If we are building better, building safer, if we're training, if we're educating, these are all positive steps.
100%. I completely agree. I think it's moving past the, it has to be done on price. Whereas before, people would be like, I can get that done cheaper. It's always a race to the bottom. And if you keep getting it done cheaper and undercutting things, certain things will be missed. When it comes to fire safety, you can't afford to make that choice.
Ultimately, the race to the bottom is it's diminishing returns. My gosh, it's a bad strategy for small companies, medium-sized companies, and big companies. You want to be valued or sort of positioned on value, not price, because ultimately,
exactly.
If they're looking to get it off you cheaper today, guess what? Tomorrow, they'll want it cheaper.
Yeah, definitely. We have certain criteria when we have a project come in. Don't get me wrong. You're in it to have good profits, be a healthy company. But at the same time, if certain criteria isn't met at the start of like an inquiry for us, whether the money's there or not, if certain things don't sit right with us, we'll happily turn a project away or say, if someone's not listening to sort of, if we're standing there going, look, we advise like the best way to do it is this, or there's been times in the past where someone will come in with a fire rated inquiry and go, look, I've been told I need this, and you could probably take the job on and earn some money on it, but we're going, look, well, I don't necessarily think that you need some fire rated requirements here. I'd maybe get a second opinion, maybe look at doing this. These are your options, giving someone the sort of full facts of it. So they're getting all the information. I think that will serve people well in the long term, rather than just going in and trying to make a few quid off someone. Being actual like a strong pillar of advice for people to come to and giving our sort of opinion and expertise on what their requirements are. I think that will help people out in the long run as well.
Well, this seems like a good opportunity to segue into sort of company culture and values. So what would you say Aluminium Fire Systems' sort of unique company culture is, including the sort of employees, because you are an employee-owned company, right?
Yeah, we're 45% owned by our employees. Excuse me. I'll say that again. We're 45% owned by the employees of Aluminium Fire Systems. So everyone's got like an actual key tangible share of the business. We're all business owners. It's our company. We're all the owners of this business. So every decision that's made, every product that goes out the door, every single person here is responsible for it and sort of has that more sort of like tangible feel that this is ours, this is our company. We're all pulling in the right direction. If we do well, we all do well. If something goes wrong, it affects every single one of us. Probably more so than if you was just sort of an employer.
Oh, absolutely. I get that entirely. I think also it's just an interesting It's an interesting proposition from obviously my side now of looking at the market when you're trying to understand what are the tangible differences between company why a particular individual might want to work at a particular place. And I see it. It's not like it's commonplace that these company owned, but there are a couple of in the sector, and you can almost see like it's the staff are just they embody the. It's easier to to embody the values when it is your company. You've got the shares. They do well. You do well. It's such a and obviously, I imagine, again, one thing I often say is like retention is your best tool in recruitment, right? You don't want to be speaking to people like me every
Yeah,
day. But ultimately, yeah, like it must be such a great tool for retaining staff as well because
yeah,
it's, they have to, if they're not here, they give it up. They give up ownership of something that's growing.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think our sort of team culture was different to anywhere else I've ever worked before in my career in the first place. But since we sort of introduced this scheme of the ownership of the company, I think it's just sort of developed to a next level. People sort of taking responsibility and ownership of everything, and a sort of no, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we're doing it. Everyone's so much more invested. It was such like a breath of fresh air, and sort of going. Like, I thought we was really good, and our culture and everything was great. Our you know everyone was bonded, everyone's on the same page. But since we've sort of introduced the employee ownership, it's just come on leaps and bounds.
I think one thing that's always been interesting because I wouldn't say pestered Rebecca at the start a few years ago to try. No, just I'm not those like I understand that sort of like sending an email every day saying please can I work with you. But it's actually quite alienating. But one of the things that really that stuck out is just how disarming your content is in the marketing, how sort of unstuffy and uncorporate it is, and I think that really lands and it really hits, and it sort of it stands out in a way that those that look take something like LinkedIn for example. LinkedIn's an amazing platform. Um, it's my digital home, but ultimately a lot of it can be very corporate and stuffy, and
Yeah,
it's hard to connect to some of the stuff. Whereas Aluminium Fire Systems have always been really just down to earth, very open and very revealing too, to the good and the bad. And I think
yeah. I think we
that's been
just
really positive. And I guess that reflects though, and again, it's a company of people owned by people.
that's who we're trying to be. There's no sort of sitting down and going, this is how we're going to market ourselves, or this is the plan. We've just been ourselves, and we've done that from the start, and we'll continue to do so. Our sort of values are like transparency, integrity, people. All those sort of tie into to sort of how we showcase ourselves. We're just literally a group of people that are trying to all sort of pull in the right direction, make a business succeed, which is our business. And there's no sort of better thing than that. Is sort of getting noticed and people sort of going, oh, your marketing or the way you come across is really great because we've just been ourselves. We literally just we film our process. We film like the fabrication process. We got a bit of stick from that at the start. People going, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. Why? Like if
That's
we're
when you
proud, if we're
know you're
proud of the
doing
product,
something.
yeah,
That's when you know you're doing something right. If someone has the energy to, sort of, well, no, wouldn't do it that way. It's just
yeah,
go out there
we're
anyway.
proud of the products that we're putting out there. We've got a stringent QC process. We've got fabricators. They've got a lot of knowledge of the product that have been doing it for a lot of years. So why would we not showcase that? Something that we're
How
proud of.
has how has that commitment to sort of quality and excellent? How is that represented in your client relationships?
Really well. I mean, the feedback that we get, it's always sort of really great to hear. I mean, as I say, I've only been in the industry for sort of 3 or so years, just slightly over 3 years. Before that, I was in automotive. It's a very different industry. So, not wanting to sound sort of like all down on the sort of fenestration industry, but I thought that there's such a difference between what's expected with what quality processes are there, what sort of people expect. It's sort of like a widely accepted that mediocrity is fine sort of thing, and that's not sort of the industry that I've come from. It's
No, no. I think, as I said earlier in the chat, I think we have this connective tissue to the double glazing past. Like, because look, architectural glazing, facades, fenestration, this sort of building envelope sector, it's it's about 30, 35 years old. I know we've been putting windows in buildings for hundreds of years, but that's sort of, as I say, that whole building envelope sector, that's sort of as a group, about 35 years old. And when you put it up against Hollywood, this is still the silent movies.
Yeah.
So actually, I think I have, as much as you're right, there is a sort of laissez-faire and sort of slapdash approach, but I think it's from that, stack it high, sell them cheap past that we're slowly shedding. Like, I think the skin is shedding and we are getting
100%. I think even in the 3 years that I've been in the industry, I think that there's been such a shift recently towards it's sort of been taken more seriously. It's not just an insignificant part of a building that's never seen. It's a big standout part. It's one of the biggest first things that you'd see on a building. Your doors, your windows, the actual shaping, the look of what a building is. It's a massive part of the actual building itself. So I think that there's been a sort of shift in people taking it more seriously as sort of like part of the whole building envelope sort of thing.
What are the sort of top skills, top strategies that have helped AFS prioritize those high standards?
I think just sort of like what we've touched on, like we're very transparent. As I say, it's part of one of our core values, as is integrity, as is people, as is continuous improvement, and being purpose driven. All of those things literally shape everything that we do. So
okay, so with regards to sort of being innovate, what are your approaches to innovation?
It wasn't innovate one of the things, but it's continuous improvement. So we've continuous improvement. It's everything that we do. We sort of scrutinise. So we have a CI, continuous improvement power hour, every single week where everyone's involved, where it's a different topic every week of what can we do better. We look through what we've done previously, we look through what's coming up, and we talk about what can be done to improve constantly. We have like a lessons learnt log, which is in the forefront of everything that we do. We've got lessons learnt logs on the shop floor. We've got them in the office. If something goes well, it's noted down. This went well. This went well because of this. This is the outcome of it. Okay, we need to make sure that we do that again moving forward. Something went badly, put it down. This went badly. Why? This was the root cause of it. What can we do to prevent that happening again? Everything that we do is sort of towards continuous improvement and improving. The guys on the shop floor, from coming into the industry to where we are now, the big thing for me and every company that I've worked at is that there's always a divide between your people on the shop floor and your people in the office. There's always a divide. People have got pain points on the shop floor. They don't know who they can channel those to. Because they don't channel them, nothing gets sort of resolved and it sort of builds frustration. As I said, we've been transparent and been people driven and continuous improvement driven. Everything that we do, as I say, is to alleviate all those pain points for people. The guys have got an issue on the shop floor, it's noted down straight away. It's spoke about in team brief the next day. Okay, this was an issue. Okay, what caused it? What can we do to prevent that happening again? Anything that is a problem is ironed out straight away or as quickly as can be done. And as I say, tying into sort of people owning part of the business, everyone wants to get rid of those pain points as quickly as possible. And right, look, we've saw something here. If we do this way, or we change the way we order this or how we do that, this is going to improve us. This next job's going to go this much smoother. Sort of quantifying everything, and everyone ties into that. And as I say, every team brief that we have every single morning, everyone's got a voice to bring up what their issues are, what the good things are. How do we keep doing the good things well, and how do we improve the things that we maybe haven't done so well?
So, what would be if there's other companies out there they want to increase a culture of care and ownership in their teams like you guys have? What would your advice be?
My advice is everybody should have a voice in a company. No matter who you are. So like everyone's got an idea of how they can improve what the company is. But there's a difference between having an opinion and being able to voice that opinion and feel like you're being listened to. So as I say, working with the automotive industry where you've probably got 200 people on a shift, Everyone's got an opinion of how things can be improved, but no one's got an opportunity to say that. That there'll probably be like a suggestions box that will never ever get filled in because they feel, what's the point? No one's going to listen to it. It's probably just like a waste of everyone's time filling out that piece of paper. And a lot of the time it is. Here, if someone's got an idea of something, it's listened to. You've got a platform to say exactly what you want to say. And as I say, with people sort of being invested in the company, there's sort of like more of a reason to say it and to improve because, as I say, it's out for everyone's benefit.
Okay, moving on. So a little bit talk about ourselves and Framework. What is your experience of working with Framework and how we sort of collaborate on our shared goals?
I'll be honest, recruiters aren't at at the top of my Christmas card list. the,
Not
the
sure
amount
me.
of times, being in a production manager position, a shift manager position, an operations manager position, any sort of managerial position, you're sort of inundated with different recruiters that we can promise this, we can promise that, we can do this. It never ever materializes. I've had it throughout my career. Recruiters are great for helping you out, but a lot of the time it is sort of you need someone, I'll get you someone, not listening to actually exactly what you need, exactly what skill set you need. And as I say, I've known you for a couple of years now, David, and I've never worked with a recruiter like you and like Framework. And I know it's exactly what you want to hear, so I'll take the money after we finish.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, it's refreshing. It's someone that actually listens to exactly what you're after, and it's not a case of, oh, they need a body, here's a body. It's going away and going, this is the exact skill set that they're after. This is the company that they are. I think I found the right fit. And,
Bless you, man.
99% of the time, it's the right person, it's the right fit because you've took the time to actually listen and understand what we're after.
Right, clip in that, I can guarantee you. And lastly, Chris, you visited Templar's primary school. It was in Coventry, wasn't it? And they had a
Yeah, that's
careers
right.
week, and you were talking about obviously fire rated windows and aluminium fire systems. How important are these sorts of initiatives? And what was your takeaway from the day?
I absolutely loved it. So it's something that we've spoke about as a team for a while. The sort of education and the next generation of people that are going to be coming into the industry. So we've been sort of looking at avenues that we can go down to, go out and talk about our industry, talk about fire rated windows. As I say, I've not been in the industry for a great deal of time. Before sort of coming into the industry, I knew nothing about windows. I just thought it was, plastic, metal, goes together, a bit of glass in it, sorted. And that's what I think the majority of people think. So we spoke about, education, careers, sort of getting people involved and understanding the fenestration industry and specifically, the specialty of fire rated windows. So we was looking at avenues that we could sort of go down to explore this, and it just so happened that my wife is a primary school teacher, and she took on their careers week and was sort of recruiting people to come in voluntarily to talk about different career opportunities for children, what they can do after school, what sort of careers they can look into. And they were getting the police, the fire service, business owners, all these different things. It was all great, and I just thought this is perfect for us. So we sorted it out. I went over to their school for one afternoon and went round to 3 or 4 different classes and just spoke about our industry, spoke about fire rated windows, and I absolutely loved it. It was so refreshing, and I was sort of thinking, children in school, they're going to see, the firefighters are coming in, the police are coming in, how exciting. And then someone's going to come in and talk to them about windows and doors. And I thought, oh no, here we go. But it was so
You're being
engaging.
pelted. Yeah.
I was absolutely blown away with the sort of engagement from the children. It was just really sort of refreshing and exciting, and they actually cared, and they were asking some brilliant questions. And that was the really exciting thing for me. And I thought, we're doing the right thing here, trying to get people talking about our industry, people that are in school that are actually thinking now, this could be a career path for me. I've never ever thought about the opportunity to, make windows and doors, be involved in, the sort of every sort, estimating, ordering, all that sort of stuff.
I think we have such it's a career industry. You can go from the factory floor to the
Yeah,
boardroom in this game, and we will be glass and aluminium are the building materials of the future. We'll be using these products for 200, 300 years at least. Can you say that, like, if you get into software development, if you get into, like, how many sort of things can you get into now that you can't guarantee you'll be here in 10 years' time? I
exactly.
think we
The
have.
career paths that we spoke about in school, a lot of them, as technology and everything advances, a lot of those careers that were opportunities when people were in school who were like my age, your age, that they've probably gone now. But as you say, that there'll always be windows and doors in buildings.
And I also think the industry has done so well to talk to itself. We're all they're always, go on LinkedIn. It's a great echo chamber where everyone's talking, sharing products, sharing stuff. It's that communication to outside that we really failed at. And when, like, I know with Building Our Skills, the fenestration charity I work with, when you go to sort of tech colleges and you see the amount of marketing that goes into making plumbing and carpentry look sexy, the amount of, like, the aesthetic punch alone from these projects is quite profound. The fact that it's such a career industry, I think, is also such a great opportunity. And on top of all of that, the things that the conversations on the in the minds of students are around eco values and sustainability. Again, something our industry leads at. So
Yeah,
my hope is that this is just something we improve. We can create linear paths from education straight into the sector, because I think that's what we really need.
yeah, definitely. As I say, we've like the getting involved in like the social aspects and all that sort of stuff. Like that's something that we're really big on as well. So we've recently become a corporate sponsor for a charity called Love Brum, which does a lot of work around the Birmingham area, and yeah, we've got involved with those recently, which is a really exciting opportunity for us. And we've, just even little things like giving back to the local community. We've just agreed like a sponsorship with a local football team that we're going to sponsor those for the upcoming season. So it's a lot of
Do they need a striker?
yeah, you're interested.
I'm so deluded. I actually think I didn't play football till I was quite old,
Yeah.
and I wasn't terrible. I'm so deluded. I think I could have, if I'd have been started younger, I think I could have been the best. One of the best. I'm not joking. Like, I have that in my head. Like, I genuinely believe I could have been the greatest. I just have to do this instead.
Yeah, we've got a couple of decent players here. To be fair, we get a little five-a-side game going on.
No, that is an absolute goal of mine. Again, so this is another message going out to the market. National Five-a-Side League, we'll arrange it. We're going to destroy you. I don't know what I'm talking about now. Chris, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I
Real
appreciate it,
fun chat
David.
to you.
It's been great.
No worries, buddy. I'll speak to
I'll
you soon.
speak to you soon, mate. Thank you.